Morning, everyone.
Good
Morning,
morning.
Rabbi.
Good morning.
Getting late.
We learn Mishnah Shkalim, Paragraph Chapter 6, Mishna Dalad, Mishnah 4. Shloisha Asar Shulchanes Hayuba Mikdash. There were 13 tables in the Beis HaMikdash. And now we're going to go through them. Shmoina Shal Shayish. There are 8 of them made of marble, in case you didn't understand what I was saying. Beveis HaMitbachayim, in the slaughtering area. Okay? Or they call it here the butchering place, where most offerings were slaughtered, skinned, cut up, and rinsed. This was located in the area north of the Mizbeach. So I have a small picture here. Mish probably has a bigger picture. But the picture that I have over here is if you see the Mizbeach, right, the little picture of the Mizbeach, that's here. Okay? So to the north, you have 8 tables. Those are the 8 tables being mentioned that we're talking about right now. Sha'aleyen, the Mishnah says, Sha'aleyen madichem es karavayim, that upon them they would wash the intestines. And they explain here in the notes, an ola offering was cut up. Its intestines had to be rinsed before being placed on the Mizbeach. Rinsing was done on these 8 tables. Okay, so that's 8. Ushnayim b'marav hakevesh. You had 2 at the west of the ramp. So again, in this picture here, in that little picture, here is the altar, right here's the Mizbeach, here's the ramp. And now to the west of the ramp, you have 2 tables.
All right.
What's north on
Did
that?
they clean the intestines there?
It says they rinsed them.
The outside or the inside?
It rinsed them, probably inside and out.
All right.
What'd you say? North is
What we usually consider,
okay. Now, Ushnai b'marav hakevesh, you had 2 at the west of the ramp. Echad shel shayish ve'echad shel kesef. One was made out of marble, one was made out of silver. Al shel shayish hayunaisin mesayvarim. On the marble one, they would put the limbs. Al shel kesef, on the silver one, klei shares, the service vessels used in the Beis HaMikdash. Okay, so what does this mean here? It means the following. An ola offering had to be cut into a certain number of specific pieces. Once cut up, the pieces were placed on this marble table. And that's where they waited until the Kohanim came to take them to put them onto the fire. Now, here is a very important point. Although most temple vessels were made of gold or silver, this table was an exception because meat was placed upon it. A metal table would have kept the meat warm and possibly caused it to spoil. A marble table, on the other hand, kept the meat cool and preserved its freshness. So that's why this table was different. Okay, so now ask a kasha, Richard, Mr. Pikayavis, ask a question on this. The mission, what?
Why is this table different from all other tables?
I just answered that. The Bishop Pirkei Avos asks, the question is that in Pirkei Avos it says that meat never spoiled in the Beis HaMikdash. So then what are you concerned about? So the answer is, even though we know that miraculously no sacrificial meat ever spoiled in the Beis HaMikdash, it is improper to rely on miracles. The table was therefore made of marble, which protects against spoiling naturally. Okay, so that's the marble table to the west of the ramp. And then you had the silver one for the kli sharesh, for the service vessels. What does that mean? So here's a very interesting point. 93 utensils were used during the daily Beis HaMikdash service. 93. They were taken out each morning and placed on this silver table. Wherever they were stored, they were taken out, put on the table, and that's where they stayed to be taken off to be used for the day.
How do they arrive at 93?
That's the number. Okay, so that's the 2 to the west of the ramp. Ushnayim ba'ulam b'fnim al Pesach habayis. Now you have another two more tables located inside the ulam, which they translate as the antechamber, near the doorway leading to the Beis Hamikdash itself. Okay, now in this picture, this area is the Beis Hamikdash itself. In the front, you see you have this area that kind of like extends out. That's called the ulam. That's called the antechamber. That's where you entered into. Through the antechamber, you entered into the building of the Beis Hamikdash itself. And as the picture has it, you've got two tables here. You got two tables. One on the north side, one on the south side. Okay. Now, Ushnayim b'ulam b'fnim al Pesach habayis. You had two in the antechamber near the doorway leading into the Beis Hamikdash itself. Echad shel shayish v'echad shel zav. Here you got one of marble, one of gold. Al shel shayish noisim lechem hapanim b'chnisasai. On the marble one, they placed the lechem hapanim as they brought it in. V'al shel zav b'yitziasai. And on the golden one, as they were taken out. So we know that in the Beis Hamikdash, which the Mishna is going to mention, there was a table inside the Beis Hamikdash itself. And on that table, they kept 12 loaves of bread called the lechem hapanim. This lechem hapanim, they were changed every Shabbos. So they were baked Erev Shabbos, and then on Shabbos, the older ones were taken out, the new ones were replaced, and the new ones replaced them. Okay, so now what you have here is the following. So they transferred the fresh lechem hapanim from the, okay, 1 second. Right. So they transferred the fresh lechem hapanim from the marble antechamber table to the gold table in the Beis Hamikdash. That means, so they bake the bread, they put it on the marble table. I guess, again, why the marble table? Keep it fresh again? Not sure. But it says that they put it on the marble one. Yep. Okay, that's what they did. The ones that had just been baked before they were going to go onto the golden table inside the Beis Hamikdash were put down on this marble table. And then what happened was that then the other breads that were now the old bread that was going to be taken out and was going to be divided up amongst the Kohanim, when they took it out of it was still warm. They took it off the golden table inside the Beis Hamikdash and put it on this golden table from where it would then already be divided up.
There was another golden table.
Now, 1 second. So what you have here is you have, so again, you got the two tables that are in the antechamber. Echad shel shayish v'echad shel zav, one of marble, one of gold. Al shel shayish noisim lechem hapanim b'chnisasai. On the marble one, they put in the lechem hapanim as it was going to be brought in. It was from there, it was brought into the table inside the Beis Hamikdash. V'al shel zav b'yitziyasai. And the old bread that was coming off the table inside the Beis Hamikdash and going out and to be divided, that is put on the golden table. Why was it put on a golden table, not a silver one, like the other case we had before? Before we had marble and silver. Now we have marble and gold. Why in this case is it gold? Shemaylin b'kodesh v'lo meridin. Because when it comes to sanctified thing, when it comes to sanctity, we go up in sanctity and we don't go down. Meaning, being that this bread is the bread that was on the golden table, it's the old bread. It's the bread that's been taken out of the Beis Hamikdash to divide it upon the Kohanim, and it's going to be put down on a table. You put it on a silver table, you went down a notch. You went from gold to silver. And therefore, since when it comes to matters of holiness, we don't go down, we go up. Therefore, or stay the same at least, therefore, that table that the old bread was put on, from where it would be divided up, that table was going to be made out of gold instead of silver. So so far we have 12. The echad shel zav b'fnim. Then you had one golden one inside the Beis Hamikdash. She'olav lechem hapanim tamid, upon which the lechem hapanim stayed regularly, meaning the entire week. The old ones, the new ones, Those were one that were regularly, constantly on that table inside. So that's a total of 13. You had 8 that was to the north of the Mizbeach. You had 2 to the west of the ramp. You had that makes 10. You had 2 in the ulam, in the antechamber. That makes 12. And then you had the one table inside the Beis HaMikdash. That makes 13. Have a wonderful day. A good night.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Now the